On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
To label these women that y'all don't necessarily agree with, because we're not talking about having different talking points. We're not talking about disagreeing with people, right? Kay, I just watched you gloss over this whole narrative and you did not hold her accountable one time for using that name. Not one time. Thank you very much. I did not specifically say. I'm not asking you a question. I'm making a statement. Thank you. Thank you, Kay.
But you're not
on top of that, when you very hypocritical, can't even be quiet for 5 seconds while I make my point. When you decide that you guys don't like a chick and how it is that she disagrees and addresses your issues, then you start to call her name.
You're misunderstanding.
Okay, Kay, listen, I understand how Rilla said. You're unable to listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? You're unable to listen as much as you are willing to contribute to the conversation. So since you have so much to say, I'm just going to let you do your thing. This is the KA show. Go ahead, Kay.
Because
the question is, why
when there's
are women mad at women?
Someone that's speaking in a space, there's someone that's speaking in a space that's innately feminine, and they have like those more feminine things, like maybe a very soft voice or a very meek voice, like they don't have an assertive voice or an assertive personality, right? And they're in this space and they're innately in there. That's their feminine. That is their particular feminine. I don't think anybody's saying anything about that. I don't think anybody's mad about that. I don't think
you just called these chicks pygmishas, and you're telling
I'm saying the women.
No, you literally just said
listen.
Hold on.
Women that are
you
going
just
out of
literally
their way,
called them a pick me. You know that's the name that women have a problem with.
I'm not talking about women that are operating as themselves, being feminine, speaking on whatever they're speaking on. I'm talking about women that are pushing, specifically talking about other women, like talking down on other women, those type of women that come into the space and are pushing.
You just did it.
You women aren't cooperative enough. That's why you're not getting, like, there are literally women like that
you
are
called them a
like
pygmy.
pushing those same 3 talking points.
You literally just called them a pygmy.
Chastising other women.
So you're not accountable to yourself? You didn't just call them pygmies?
They are. Some of them are. What are you talking about? Some of them are. Some of them put down other women to try to make themselves look better. They
contradicting yourself.
But you don't have to do that to be feminine. Putting down other women is not feminine.
You contradicted yourself by putting down another woman and calling her a pygmisha. You don't see the issue?
Yeah, because I'm pointing out that behavior. I'm not putting her down. I'm saying that behavior.
So when they point out your behavior,
you don't need to put anybody down in any way to make yourself.
It makes sense.
You don't have to dim anyone else's light for you to shine.
You just did it. You called him a pygmisha. You know that's a word that they're not feeling.
I am chastising people that are putting out other people
by calling them a name.
I'm not trying to put. They're not shining a light if they're doing that stuff to other women. They're not shining a light. So I'm not putting out nobody's light by calling them out. I'm just calling them out. That's what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. And you're saying,
like, am I the only person that sees this?
No, you're off.
On behavior.
I'm off.
I'm speaking out on particular behavior.
The reason you're off is because what Kayla is saying, and I don't be calling people pick me's, whatever. But what she's saying,
that's bullshit.
I don't call people. I don't.
Okay, that's weird.
It is what it is. There's some people
if Rilla don't even insult people. But if Rilla say one thing that you don't think that he fully
now we're changing.
No. Because this is a problem. This is a problem, and the problem is that you pick and choose who you want your enemy to be. You pick and choose who you want your enemy to be based off of this sister.
It's not about an enemy.
And you're not even willing to be honest enough to hold your own homegirl that's sitting right next to you that got part of your name accountable for what she just called other women.
Listen, I'm about to talk on that. I'm about to speak on that. Anton, I think that the misunderstanding is that you're thinking that she's saying just all of
we don't call women names.
Oh my goodness. Can I names?
Hold on, Anton, let her finish.
I want somebody to apologize for calling them pygmishas.
I'm not.
Okay. Well, JR, let me know.
Or at least one of your homegirls should hold you accountable.
For what? Calling people out? I call people out. That's what we do.
You called her out of her name. That's sign language.
I didn't call anybody out of their name.
Oh my God. JR, please.
What are you talking about? That's not. Oh my God.
Hold on, y'all. Let Kay cook. Go ahead, Kay.
Go ahead, Kay. Sorry.
Thank you. So, and I'm trying to be better. So don't think this is
okay. Just go ahead, Kay.
Okay.
You got your grace. Go ahead.
So, Anton, I've heard, now just don't say anything, just let me get it all out. I've heard you call people simps. JR, why?
It's all you, baby girl. Go ahead.
I've heard you call people simps multiple times. Now, I would equate the word pick me or whatever to that same type of thing. So if Kayla is saying that a woman who specifically, not a traditional woman, that's not what she's saying, right? Right?
Make your point. You want the floor. Make your point.
It's not just a traditional woman that cooks and cleans and does whatever. That's not what Kayla is talking about. Kayla is talking about a very specific type of woman that just by any means necessary throws women under the bus to just appear more valuable to men. And in my observation, those types of women are usually very single and very desperate themselves. Now, whatever, and that's fine, whatever, that's them. But I think that what Kayla was saying in terms of that word, which I don't use, but I get what she's saying, because if she's saying that a woman who throws women under the bus, women do everything bad, please just accept me, men. That's what she's talking about. She's not saying any woman who cooks and cleans and caters to her man. She's not saying that.
So long story short, so let me tell you how this translates in my ear, right?
I want to get the cue out there, Anton.
This is how it translates in my ears.
How?
It's okay for y'all to call these women that y'all don't agree with names. It's okay for you to call them pygmishas.
Is it okay for you to call somebody a simp?
Oh, can you please be quiet? I was quiet the whole time that you was just talking when JR asked me to.
Look, we're in an adjustment
please live in your
period.
femininity, K, please. I'm asking you.
In an
nicely.
adjustment
Thank you,
period.
K. Thank you. I'm appreciating you ahead of time for being quiet while I make my point. Thank you for living in your femininity.
We're trying to be better this show. Come on now.
So my point is that it's okay for y'all to call names, to label these women that y'all don't necessarily agree with, because we're not talking about having different talking points. We're not talking about disagreeing with people, right? Kay, I just watched you gloss over this whole narrative and you did not hold her accountable one time for using that name. Not one time. Thank you very much. I did not
specifically said,
I'm not asking you a question. I'm making a statement. Thank you. Thank you, Kay.
But you're not
on top of that, when you very hypocritical, can't even be quiet for 5 seconds while I make my point. When you decide that you guys don't like a chick and how it is that she disagrees and addresses your issues, then you start to call her name.
You're misunderstanding.
Okay, Kat, listen, I understand how Rilla said. You're unable to listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? You're unable to listen as much as you are willing to contribute to the conversation. So since you have so much to say, I'm just going to let you do your thing. This is the KA show. Go ahead, Kay.